Have you spoken to Chuan about the charms?
I did. And they've already been loaded onto the ship. I believe there were 50 of them, enough to get you through the winter. Chuan seems to have changed this past year. There's less anger in him. He seems more concerned with delivering the supplies than murdering Azadi.
I think he's found some peace in the swamplands. And there's a woman, Ayela.
Ah, I see. It is time he left his past behind, to mourn so many for so long.
If anyone has the right to stay angry, it's him. The Azadi took everything from him, killed everyone he loved, enslaved him, and forced him to join their army.
And yet he decides to leave his anger behind and forge a new life for himself. Maybe you have something to learn from him, April.
I'm not him, Benrime. We all find peace in different ways.
And some not at all.
I hope Bryn hasn't caused any trouble for you. He's a bit hot-headed.
Bryn is a lovely boy. He's been courteous and sweet. He absolutely adores you, April. I hope you realize how much you mean to him.
I saved his life. Or at least I gave him one. He was orphaned and there was no one to look after him.
You did a good thing. But when you save someone's life, especially a child's life, you are also taking responsibility for that life. You may not care much for your own life anymore, April. But for his sake, you need to take care. You need to find something to live for again.
I have something to live for. Revenge.
Revenge is not enough. And it's just another excuse. So the Azadi have murdered friends and loved ones. For that they must pay. But that is not something to live for, April. Nor is it something to die for. What happens when the enemy is banished? What then?
There's no point thinking that far ahead. Thanks for letting us stay here. I know you're taking a big risk by doing that.
I accepted that risk a long time ago, April. I could not simply stand idly by and let the Azadi terrorize my friends and customers. This is my small way of helping the rebels. I'm more useful here than I would be with a sword. I just hope that my contribution will have some effect, and that one day our city and peoples will be free again.
You should come east with us, Benrime. You'll be safe there, and your skills are needed.
They are needed here, too. And I do not want to abandon my inn or my customers. Also, fewer and fewer are willing to deal with non-humans. If I leave, who leaves next? Soon the city will not only belong to the enemy, it will be populated by the Azadi alone. What then of Old Town and its inhabitants? If no one's left to speak up, I fear the Azadi will simply burn it to the ground, together with everyone inside. So no, April. I need to stay here. This is where I'm needed the most.
Any other news I should know about?
Apparently, with so many soldiers tied up in skirmishes in the north and the east, there will be another contingent coming to the city soon. I've heard that it may contain several thousand soldiers. That would obviously make life more difficult for the rebels.
They're not used to the terrain, the woodlands, and the cold. They can send their whole empire for all I care. They will still fail.
I hope you're right, April. Still, it's never a good idea to tempt fate.
Have you heard any other news?
Nothing you do not already know, April.
I should be on my way.
Very well. Be careful, and may the balance be with you.
Ryan Westhouse, looking younger and healthier than he did 10 years ago. It's just a child.
I don't understand how anyone could talk badly about the Azadi. I think the Azadi are brilliant.
There are soldiers everywhere. The Azadi think that will protect them against terrorist threat? They're mistaken.
Move along, citizen.
The Azadi have brought their steam technology to Mercury, and now everyone's installing these noisy machines. Balance knows what these things actually do. Sooner or later, Arcadia will end up looking like Stark. It's just a question of time. I don't know him.
What can steam technology do for you? The question you should be asking is, what can it do? And the answer is, nothing.
Visit Roper's Smells and Filters for premium quality potions, magical ingredients, and made-to-order charms.
He's Dolmari, and therefore he has to live inside the walls of the magic ghetto, or he'll be arrested. You don't see a lot of Zid in Mercuria these days.
Old Town's getting too crowded. It just wasn't built to house so many people.
Potions, herbs, curiously
There used to be
shaped
thousands of
cookies.
Dolmari in Mercuria. Nowadays you'll only find them in Old Town, and there are few left.
What do the Azadi want from us? Why have they stuck us in here? We haven't done anything to them, and we can't help who we are.
Conditions in the ghetto aren't bad, all things considered. We got food and water, and there's medicine and herbs for everyone. What we don't have is freedom.
He's Zid. There are fewer and fewer in Gone East.
Old Town's not a bad place to be. If only the Azadi would leave us be, like they promised they would.
Potions, herbs, curiously shaped cookies, everything a wizard, witch, or warlock may require, using only the finest organic ingredients, Elguan bladders, rat tails, dung.
They've kept the blue flame burning here in Old Town for 1,000 years, apparently. It didn't even go out when the tyrant held the city. Wait, that man. He looks very familiar. Why am I thinking of moving stairways? Good God, Roper Clax.
At your service, milady. What may I do for... Wait. I know you. Where do I know you from? April. April Ryan.
Oh, well...
How lovely to see you.
Say what?
It's been too long, my dear. Too long.
Yeah. I guess it's been... long.
What have you been up to?
This and that.
How lovely. Me? I'm rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated? How so?
Being soundly walloped by you was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really?
Oh, yes. It gave me perspective, time to think. When I finally escaped that confounding device, I joined WWWA. Wicked Witches and Warlocks Anonymous. It's a marvelous support group for wizarding professionals.
Oh.
Oh, it helped tremendously to find others who shared my affliction.
Affliction?
A desire for evil deeds and world domination, your basic, EDWD syndrome.
I see. And now?
Cured! I'm free of my desire to conquer and control, and I'm happy to be a simple merchant and published author.
I guess that's a good thing.
It is. It is indeed. So, April Ryan, is there anything I can do to help repay what you did for me?
How did you get out of that calculator I trapped you in?
I had to learn advanced trigonometry. After that, it was as easy as multiplying the root of pi with the volume of my mathematical prison.
Oh, that sounds pretty complicated.
It took me 5 years, but I gained some important personal skills in the process. I even had time to write a book, so it was all for the best.
You said something about being an author?
I published one. I wrote my memoirs a few years ago. Farewell to My Wizarding Days by Roper F. Clax.
What's the F stand for?
Nothing. It just looked better on the cover. Anyway, as it turned out, the first and only print run had a slight problem. A small charm made its way onto page 108. When readers got to that page, the book, as misfortune would have it, exploded.
And you had nothing to do with that.
Me? Absolutely not. I've been acquitted of all charges, and every single lawsuit has been dismissed in the magical court. I'm quite innocent. It does mean, however, that only one copy of Farewell to My Wizarding Days by Roper F. Clax exists, and that would be mine. I've decharmed it, and page 108 is quite safe to read now, if you're interested.
Not really, no. I actually do need some help.
That's great! Anything to assist the woman who turned my life around.
I'm looking for a way to get to the city of the Dark People.
Visiting old friends, I take it? Your adventures are the stuff of legends, April Ryan. By the way, did you ever read that pamphlet they published? The one with the amusing drawings? April Rye Bread and the Rod of Joy?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, I'll never forget that illustration where the Dolmari lady takes the Rod of Joy and sticks it right...
Anyway, about the Dark People City.
Ah, yes. What do you plan on doing there?
I need to visit their library.
The library? Indeed. They are collectors, these Dark People. They collect all sorts of knowledge, arcane, forbidden knowledge. Anyway, as luck would have it, there's a shadow ship docked down in the harbor right now. I'm sure they'll let the famous April Ryan, I'm sure they will give you passage to their city.
That's perfect, thank you. How do I get to the Dark People's library again?
Oh, there's a shadow ship docked in Shady Quay. Be your charming self, and I'm sure they will give you passage to their city.
Thanks.
At your service, milady. If you ever need a potion or a charm, visit Roper's Spells and Philtres.
Everything a wizard, witch, or warlock may require